Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Would all mothers like to raise their hand for a minute? Happy Mother's Day. Would everyone that has a mother raise their hand for a minute? Happy Mother's Day, and all the feelings in between. I'd like to start the invocation today with the first part of what was my mother's favorite sonnet by E.E. Cummings. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees and a true blue dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. So bring your yeses in here and rest for a while in the loving presence of this community. Let's sing together hymn number 12, O Life That Maketh All Things New. In the gray hymnal, please rise as you are able in body and spirit.
I think members of our congregation are on the Mother's Day March. I know Lisa was there earlier today, and she said it hadn't even really started by after 9, so I'm not sure we'll see many people sort of straggling in unless they ran the march. My name is Dottie Pitt, and I'm a member of our worship committee. If you're having trouble hearing us, either in the meeting house or on Zoom, please note in the chat or raise your hand, and we'll make sure that you can hear. We're glad you've chosen to be with us this morning. However your journey, whatever your heritage, and whomever you love, you are welcomed here. Your presence here on Sunday enriches worship for everyone, and this sanctuary is made holy by your presence. If you're joining us for the first time, a special welcome. You will find information about First Parish in your pew. I or Brigitte, who stepped in as greeter, great, thank you, would be happy to answer any questions you might have, and we would welcome the opportunity to walk with you to coffee hour hosted by Kathy and Owen. Thank you. The work of living our faith is done both in and out of worship, and I call your attention to the printed announcements that are in your order of worship or found in your emailed link. Reminder, the First Parish annual meeting will take place next Sunday, May 21st, after the worship service. Of note, we will be voting on the adoption of the eighth principle, which you've heard a lot about in past Sundays. Now let's take a few minutes to greet one another and extend a warm welcome to old friends and new, and yes, you may move around as your COVID sensitivity allows. For those on Zoom, please, Margot, welcome on Zoom. I think you're a solo person there this morning. Okay, we're having too much fun. As we enter into worship, please do take a moment to make sure your cell phones are silenced. Now is the moment where we can focus on being here, where we can connect with ourselves and with the divine. We can choose to just be and just be present. I'd like to invite Katie Vey up to help me light the chalice. Flame of our faith, call us into the community of love and justice this morning and every morning. Please join me in saying the call to worship. Come, let us gather. We gather to celebrate the sacred within and among us. We come to seek spiritual growth and understanding. We strive to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and love. Together, we work to build a world with justice and compassion. Come, let us gather together. The reading this morning is a Mother's Day honor and remembrance. Lisa, did you write this? Okay, I just want to make sure that you didn't think you were saying it and that you had written it. So lovely that we have something that was written by our own Reverend Lisa. There are mothers who are just beginning, holding a fragile being in their arms and wondering how they are going to manage. There are mothers saying goodbye to youth who are leaving the nest. There are mothers who have no idea where their children are because of estrangement or loss of custody. There are mothers who ache with constant fear for their children's safety, and mothers whose children have died. There are mothers who can't believe how beautiful their children are, and mothers who can't believe how differently their children turned out. There are single mothers and stepmothers and surrogate mothers and foster mothers. There are grandmothers raising their children's children and adoptive mothers welcoming children into their homes and hearts. There are mothers who never understood how to mother, and there are mothers who never got to give birth. There are mothers who have sacrificed their lives for their young, and mothers who are cared for by their children. May we bless them all, these mothers of humanity, and bless them all, the ones we have not named.
So we wanted to spend just a little bit of time devoting ourselves to the wide spectrum of mothers and mothering. So I wanted to ask you all to be a part of this, of sending light out to, we're just going to do 3 different kind of mothering contexts. And what I thought I'd do is I'd lift up the context, and then as you are so moved, give a bit of advice or, well, not exactly, but a bit of affirmation or witness, if you have, if it comes to you. If not, we'll just stay in silence, and it'll just be a part of the room. I'm not going to bring around a mic. It'll just be part of our sort of shared prayer. So I light this first candle to send out hope and strength to mothers who have lost their children, either to death or to estrangement or to some sort of rupture in relationship. we send out light and a bit of witness or affirmation. May you be well held. May you find your truth. May you know your worth. And I light this candle for mothers who are just starting out, which can be with infants or young children or even teens. Mothers who could use a little bit more help, don't know what they're doing, but still have the loved one with them. What affirmation or witness would we send to them?
This too shall pass. Just breathe. Patience.
May the joy outweigh the challenges.
Self-care.
And to mothers who are called empty nesters, who have children who have launched or gone away in a way that they're not as in relationship, what witness, what affirmation would we send to them?
Liberation.
And in this room of beautiful witness and wisdom, I add light to the chalice for those mothers who have died. And we can hold each other as we lift up their names. Cynthia Johnson Ward. May the presence of their lives ever be with us as we live our own. And let us have a time of stillness. Breathe in, breathe out. Let yourselves be in stillness amidst this love and wisdom.
can I give you that I can give you? What will your present be? Mama, young and beautiful, always young and beautiful. That's the mama I always see. That's for mama with love from me.
So there's a story of a mother and a daughter. They're making cookies together. And the daughter looks up at the mother and says, "Mom, why do you have white hairs, little bits of white hair in your hair?" And the mother says, "Oh, those are hairs of worry about my daughter and the stress that I feel when she doesn't behave." And the daughter said, "Mommy, why is grandmother's hair all white?" Parenting. Shared learning, surprising accountability, sorting things out as they happen. There's no one formula when life abounds. It's a constant emergence. The moment a child is born, wrote Indian mystic Osho, the mother is also born. A mother is something absolutely new. New parents throughout the millennia hold their fragile, astounding infant, or perhaps older adopted child, and wonder, where is the instruction manual? How is it that creation entrusts us with such a responsibility? And yet it does. To be honest, I thought I'd only need a manual caring for the earlier years in a child's life. But I've felt clueless many times through the years as my children navigate different stages, different experiences, different needs. Every single parenting situation in birthing or fostering or adopting or guardianship is something absolutely new and somehow shared. And that newness is a constant. Parenting takes the courage of paying attention and the humility of wonder. A good bit of mothering and parenting in general is a dance with emergence, showing up for the ebb and flow of life. This is true really in any nurturing relationship, but we are definitely tested and trained in emergence when parenting. Our loved ones grow and change, as do we. It's a dance, not a strategy. It's living with, not controlling life. Much of this dance of emergence requires a powerful dual reality, holding close and letting go. It's the holding close that powerfully launches the letting go. It's the letting go that brings health to the holding close. Our children need to know that even though we are here for them, we are ready to help them launch into their, a place that we cannot fully know, and sometimes a place where we are not welcome. Your children are not your children, comes the famed poem by Khalil Gibran. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. You can give them your thoughts. You can give them your love, but not your thoughts. They have their own thoughts. You can house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. What a powerful song of emergence, being present to the unfolding of life's longing for itself, navigating opportunity beyond our command, being less central than we may want to be, being privileged to companion newness. What is the holding on and letting go? Holding on to trust in your love, letting go of judgment, holding on to our capacity to learn, letting go of control, holding on to discovery, letting go of expectation, holding on to what's true now, letting go of used to be. Life's longing for itself is the energy and wisdom of love, the challenge and journey of love. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin calls love a sacred reserve of energy, like the blood of spiritual evolution. We're creatures that forget, that lose our way, that get lost in fear and avoid discipline. We're also capable of powerful relational lives that embolden love, kindness, courage, and genius. I like to remind myself of the Buddhist teacher who once looked out to all his students after a weekend workshop. "You're all perfect," he said, "and you have a lot of work to do." We're not here as mothers or caregivers to claim the ultimate formula for all life, to define ourselves and our loved ones for all time. We're not the final judgments of what ought to be. New life is not brought into this world to stay the same. We're here to grow, to manifest, to find wholeness, and to invigorate love. That sacred reserve helps us let go of disappointment and hold steady in acceptance, to let go of defensiveness and center in gratitude, to let go of judgment and find room in kindness. Not always easy, never perfect, yet natural resources in there abound. What's hard, and also true for many mothers, is that their hopes for their children do not come true, that the relationship they so wanted to nurture does not come about. And sometimes what we dream goes far beyond what the child goes far beyond what we dream. This does not diminish the sacred reserve of the energy of love, though it emerges in unexpected ways and painstaking devotion. The spiritual evolution is sometimes a letting go that we do not think we can survive, and yet we do. Death, distance, drugs, all of this we navigate too. All this is when we most need one another to uphold the courage of paying attention and the humility of wonder. I was able to go to the Mother's Day Walk for Peace, as Dottie mentioned, and there were probably about a dozen of us there. There was a great turnout. It's great weather. Finally, people are less worried about COVID, so there was speech after speech after speech, and the walk hadn't even started at 9:15 when I had to leave. Ayanna Pressley was there, and she said something that is just really gives good hope to the walk that is happening, the Walk for Peace. And she said, those that are closest to pain need to be closest to power, and we need to make policy around that wisdom. What we can be told by people who have navigated hard things and know how to find their own resilience, know what this life has for us. And our own Reverend Mary Margaret Earle, who is in the UU Urban Ministry, gave a beautiful, beautiful prayer. And one of the things she talked about is talking about the walking, and with your left step, walk for peace, in your right, challenge. In your left, peace, in your right, kindness. In your left, peace, in your right, awareness. Walking on for the hope, bringing yourself into the place of wonder. So let us lift up mothers and caregivers who nourish the astounding strength of living life's longing for itself, of believing in the healing power of love, of claiming the emergence of better ways, clearer seeing, stronger bonds. Words from an anonymous source found in the book Life Prayers. After a while you learn the subtle difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. And you learn that love doesn't mean leaning, and company doesn't mean security. And you begin to learn, and presents aren't promises, and you begin to learn to accept your defeats. With your head up and your eyes ahead, you learn to build all your loads on today, because tomorrow's ground is too uncertain for plans, and futures have a way of falling down in mid-flight. After a while, you learn that even sunshine burns if you ask too much. So you plant your garden and decorate your own soul instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers. And you learn that you really can endure, that you really are strong, and you really do have worth. And you learn, and you learn, and you learn. Blessings be. Happy Mother's Day. Let's sing hymn number 203, All Creatures of the Earth and Sky. seated. Let's join our hearts in a spirit of prayer. God of all naming, presence in all being, help us flow with the emergence of life. Help us know that in our center there is a foundation that can keep us in balance through it all. May we be gentle in our brokenness. May we find hope in desert and wilderness times. And may we be bold in our compassion. May we give out ourselves in strength when we can. Being human is complicated, takes nurturing, takes connection, takes mistakes, takes learning, takes humor, takes sadness. Let us embrace it all. Let us know we are beloved, and all will be well. Amen.
A lot of you probably know me. I'm Katie Vey, and I'm a member of the Racial Justice Committee. It was December 2014, a time of the year that was very exciting for me. I'm sure you can guess why. It's when the best books of the year list come out, which I look forward to every year because I'm a big reader. I saw an article which challenged people to look through their reading lists and count how many books were by non-white and non-American authors. I thought this would be easy because I read very widely, or so I thought, and I enjoyed reading books about different cultures. At the time, I was reading 140 books per year, and I counted on my list and found only a handful of titles by people of color, less than 7%. When I read about other countries, it was through the eyes of white Americans. My lens was very narrow. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't thought to look. In 2015, I started intentionally reading books by people with marginalized identities with a focus on Black women authors. That was the beginning for me, the entryway onto a path of anti-bias and anti-racism work. Once I started reading, I realized how much I didn't know. It was around this time that I got involved with the prison book program, and I learned about how racism was baked into our criminal justice system. My heart broke for people in prison, and I hope to provide them with more diverse books and find the exact subjects that they're looking for. More importantly, I realized that the books were a chance for them to connect to a caring community on the outside of prison walls, and I loved getting to show incarcerated people that they are seen and valued. I started out keeping track of how many diverse books I was reading, but now I don't need to. Centering the voices of people on the margins became embedded in my life. The authors that I follow online, the books and articles I read, keep me immersed in stories of people from many races and cultures. Diverse books were my entryway, but far from my ending point. One question that the Racial Justice Committee here at First Parish has been discussing is, how will we live out the eighth principle as a congregation? If we name anti-racism as one of our values, what does that look like in action? That's something we'll be exploring as a community if we decide to adopt the 8th principle. I can't tell you what it will look like for each of you, but I can give examples of how I live out my core value of racial justice in my day-to-day life. When I'm donating to nonprofits, purchasing gifts and art, attending cultural events, writing book reviews, listening to podcasts, voting for candidates, sharing information and connections with my network, organizing and advocating for change, anti-racism helps determine how I spend my money and my time. This will look different for everyone, depending on your interests and abilities. Maybe instead of books, your interest is travel or art or nature, and finding ways to make your little part of the world a safer and more equitable place for everyone. As a community, we are already involved with some wonderful initiatives, like today's Mother's Day Walk for Peace. First Parish's progressive values and inclusive language were reasons why I joined this church. Anti-bias and anti-racism has become the lens through which I make decisions, my touchstone which I keep coming back to. This is a lifelong journey that requires dedication, humility, and open-mindedness, and it's easier in community. I'm grateful to be a part of this community, and I look forward to voting yes on the 8th principle next week.
Thank you, Katie. That was really great. Today's offering will go toward the service and ministry of First Parish. To give, please follow the instructions printed in your order of worship or shown on the Zoom screen. For those in the meeting house, you may also deposit cash or a check into the collection plates at either door at the end of the service. If you are proud of this church, become its advocate. If you care about its future, share its message that we welcome all to build a just and healthy world with faith, love, and compassion. Please support our faith community by giving as generously as you can.
Let's start again. I think we got off on.
Okay, we're going to start again. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
into strength for this faith community, into comfort, food, and shelter for those in need, and may we be transformed by generosity. Please stay standing and join in singing the final hymn in the Teal hymnal, Building a New Way, number 1017.
As I extinguish our chalice flame, may the flame of our faith burn deep and wide within us. May we go forth with the sense of peace and love and courage and understanding into our lives to help heal this broken world. Amen.